Stranger Things Season 4 is what they call the beginning of the end. Overall, there are over 13 hours of non-stop upside-down action that you cannot miss, and if you've seen it already, then you know it. But in case you haven't, or you want a recap version of it, then we're here for you. So what are you waiting for? Go grab your popcorn and come watch with us. On July 1st, Netflix released the second episode of Stranger Things Season 4, which was made by the Duffer Brothers. Before Eleven's epic battle with Vecna, here are some highlights from Volume 1. Stranger Things 4 starts with a flashback, not to Season 2 or 3, but to September 1979 in Hawkins, which is a long time before Season 1 started. The 9-minute or so blood-curdling scene leaves us with an unsettling question. Are we cheering for the good guys? Yes, we were too used to Eleven, the world-saving hero, Eleven, the good-natured ego thief, Eleven, the awkward teenager in love, and Eleven, the mourning daughter. We're taken back to when we didn't know if Eleven was human or a monster. And here comes the California scene. After the credits, we go somewhere other than Hawkins for the first time in the history of Stranger Things. Yes, we're in California. It's a sad reminder that the party broke up at the end of the last season, but the distance couldn't break up their strong relationship. Or might it? As Eleven, aka Jane Hopper, fills us in on what happened, we notice that the letter she wrote to her boyfriend Mike is full of lies that aren't so white. Even if you save the world twice from a demon lord from another dimension, bullies in college won't leave you alone. Even more so if those powers are gone. Millie Bobby Brown gets an A for effort, but her performance as a weak and vulnerable victim of bullying doesn't work. Guess it's hard to get rid of years of building a character when you play a telekinetically powerful child from puberty to adulthood, or all of this could be a method. And of course, she's not the prey, she's the hunter. Even though they don't realize it, Nancy and Jonathan are also not on the same page. And here comes the Hellfire Club and the curse of Vecna. Back in Hawkins, keeping the gang together is hard because of more than just distance. Lucas's priorities have changed since he broke up with Max. He now cares more about basketball and the cool crowd, while Mike and Dustin have settled with their pro D&D players at the Hellfire Club. We meet the new people, the popular cheerleader, the popular captain of the basketball team, and Eddie Munson, the game master from the Hellfire Club, who scares and entertains you at the same time. Just when you start to wonder if the writers have planned a similar path for this new Grey character as they did for Billy, a scary scene like one from M. Night Shyamalan happens. While Hawkins' new sheriff is sent on a wild goose chase, the rest of the gang uses math to link the strange and horrible murders to Vecna, a person who lives in the Upside Down. Before Vecna gets to Max, can they find a way to break the curse? Time is running out. If you're enjoying this recap with us, then do subscribe to our channel and be with us until the end of the video. And don't we forget our Sheriff Hopper in Russia. Most of us got the hint from the scene at the end of the last season's show. But you can breathe a sigh of relief if you didn't. He's still alive, but the real question is, how long will it last? If the Russian conspiracy in Season 3 was a pop culture reference to the height of the Cold War in the US, then the Russian invasion of Ukraine has made it more real than ever. Never before have more people in the US and maybe the rest of the world been against Russia. So we have to give credit to the writers for making us care about the crooked Russian jailer Dmitry and his friend Yuri, who smuggles prisoners all kinds of American goods, peanut butter. The characters in Stranger Things Season 4 Volume 1 spend a lot of time running in circles after things. Dustin and the others go after Eddie, who has run away. Nancy and Robin went on a hunt with only girls to find out where Vecna came from. Lucas led the school basketball team in the wrong direction as they went after the Satanist board games. Joyce and Murray are chasing Hopper all over the world. Mike, Will, Jonathan, and Jonathan's stoner friend are looking for Elle and Nina after they were taken. That's a lot of going back and forth. It's almost like they were making up for all the time the actors had to stay inside during the lockdown. The main theme that can be concluded is monster versus superhero fighting the demons inside you. In the previous seasons, most of the time was spent on what was happening to the kids. In this one, the characters spent a lot of time just thinking about the past. It starts with Max. Even though Vecna's threat and twisted way of doing things makes it seem like a good villain, this season's real bad guy is the character's inner demons. Max is also cursed by Vecna early in the season, and her only way out is to find her guilty feelings about Billy's death. Even though she didn't get along with her mean stepfather and stepbrother, she would have never wanted him to die the way he did. Or did she feel relieved that he was going to die, so she just stood there and watched? Sadie Sink did a great job of showing this complicated inner turmoil and her face when she was possessed by Vecna. Scared us all. The writers did a good job showing how Max deals with loss and grief, but they didn't do the same for Eleven. Elle's trauma over losing her family member, Hopper, and her identity crisis after losing her power get mixed up. It's almost as if Hopper was her power source. Every time he shows up on the screen, we cut to Elle doing something that helps her get her powers back. But the solution to her trauma and emotional conflict over her tendency to be violent is very idealistic and a bit of a cliche. Everything is swept under the rug because the season needs its superhero back for the big showdown. Showmakers make a lot of hints and then say, oh well, it was all a mistake. Instead of just skimming the surface, the writers could have tested the moral compass of the audiences by saying, you need a monster, beat a monster. When they talk about the horror fantasy, the people who made Stranger Things often sound like preteens in the early 1980s who are obsessed with pop culture. Also, they've given the reference to horror movies. When the pattern of Vecna's victims are shown, anyone who has seen the 1984 cult classic A Nightmare on Elm Street would think of Freddy Krueger. They both target people who are emotionally weak and have been hurt in the past. As if this wasn't enough, the Duffers put Robert Englund in the role of the suspected killer, Victor Creel. Englund played Freddy in the Freddy movies. Elm Street isn't the only scary thing that's mentioned. This season is full of references to movies like Hellraiser, Eraserhead, Silence of the Lambs, where Nancy and Robin meet Victor Creel in the mental hospital, and of course The Exorcist. One more thing that is also used is the hacking myth of the 1980s. Dustin asking his long-distance girlfriend to cheat on his Italian test is a quick nod to a myth from the late 1980s. Urban legend says that cool nerds would change their grades by hacking into the school computer's database where their grades were stored and changing them. That's all for today. So this was a recap of Stranger Things Season 4. Hope you enjoyed it. So don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel to see more of our incredible videos. Looking forward to seeing you in the next video.